All right, so we've already got the beginning of project number 4. We've created a procedure that will automate summing up the total expense column. But that procedure is limited, meaning it can only run once each time you run it, and it only sums up one worksheet. Now, I want to take that procedure a step further, and I want to automate it so that it goes through all of our worksheets here. East, west, north, and south. Sum them all up in one button press. Truly automating our experience here. So we're going to borrow a concept that we discussed in an earlier project. We're going to get back into loops. So this is how we're going to loop the AutoSum function across all of our worksheets. Take a look. So my first step, I'm going to open up my Visual Basic Editor. I'm going to hit the shortcut key, Alt F11. There's my Visual Basic Editor. So now you can see I've still got the previous AutoSum procedure that we created. Now I could build the loop within the AutoSum. Just use a for loop right there. Tell it to loop this stuff right here. But by doing that, by incorporating the loop within the AutoSum procedure, the AutoSum procedure will always loop. And what I'd like to do is potentially reuse the AutoSum procedure that we created for other scenarios. Perhaps scenarios where it loops differently or it doesn't loop at all. So rather than building the looping logic within that procedure, we're going to build another procedure. We're going to build the loop in there that will then make a call to the AutoSum procedure. By doing this, we become more efficient. We can create reusable code. In this case, AutoSum, reuse it for different scenarios. Let's take a look. I'm going to build another procedure here. I'll go up to Insert, Procedure. I'm going to call this Loop Sum. And I'll leave the rest set to default. It's going to be a sub procedure and it's going to be public in scope. I'll hit OK. And now I've got the beginnings of my loop sum procedure. And like I said, this is going to be a simple one. We're going to use a loop, much like we did in the earlier project. And I'm going to use a for next loop here again. So my first step, I'm going to create a variable here called I. This is going to be of integer type. And I'm building that I variable that I can use within my loop. This is going to be the variable that iterates from 1 to 2 to 3 and so on each time my loop goes through its looping cycle. So here's the structure of my loop. We'll say for I equals 1 to... so my loop's going to start at 1. First time it loops, I will be equal to 1. But I need this thing to loop a number of times. And in my case, I want it to loop through all my worksheets. Well, I know I've got 4, but what if I added another one, a 5th one, or a 6th one, or a 100th one? How do we know how many worksheets are in our workbook? Remember that? We get to use the worksheets object. And that worksheets object is really just a collection of all the sheets within our workbook. So I'm going to use the count property. We're just going to say, hey, I want to go from 1 to however many worksheets there are in this workbook. That's how many times I want to loop. Now, simple loop there. All I'm going to put inside of the loop, the operations that I want it to perform as it loops, is 2 little things. First, I want to select the appropriate worksheet. So I'm going to have it select the I worksheet. Every time it loops, remember I will be equal to 1. So first time it loops, we're going to select the first worksheet. The second time it loops, we'll select number 2 because I is equal to number 2, and so on. So I'm going to got to select the appropriate worksheet first. Now imagine this. You're on worksheet 1 now. Your loop just ran. What's next? What do you want to do? Well, I want to sum up the total expense column. Well, we've already done that. I've got the AutoSum procedure that I created earlier. And that's going to sum up the total expense column for me. And that's it. A simple loop taking our previous procedure, selecting the appropriate worksheet, then taking our previous procedure and looping it. Getting it to happen throughout all of our worksheets. Really simple. Take a look. So I'm going to minimize that. Now I want to run it. I'm currently on the East Records worksheet. I'll go ahead and go to View, to Macros, View Macros. I'm going to select Loop Sum, and I'm going to run it. Now this is going to be quick. I hit the button, I'm going to be done. And there it is. I'm now on South Records. You can see I have my 480,000. North is summed, West is summed. There's West, and there's East. We've taken the auto sum procedure and we've looped it within another procedure. One button press, and we got our work done. How quick is that? How much more efficient are you because of using macros and VBA within Excel? Make sure you try out the exercise. Try this out on your own. Nail down the auto sum, nail down the loop, hit your button, run your procedure, and you're done.